Everyone, my name is Lance Primrose and I'm the Vendor Business Manager for APC here at Westcon. Today we have Jason Malloy, Business Development Manager from APC, to discuss the many opportunities that exist with data centres at the edge. So Jace, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Lance. Thanks for the warm welcome and welcome everyone late at 3 p.m. or 3:05 this afternoon for this session. Thank you for joining. As you know, I've been with APC for probably on 10 years or just over 10 years now. And if you want to follow me there's my LinkedIn handle. So Schneider Electric is a leader in digital transformation in energy and automation. And as you'll see in the middle slide of the pillar there, the energy management piece, this is where Secure Power sits. And you might ask, who is Secure Power? Formerly known as the IT APC business. But Secure Power sits in a stack of energy management businesses, and you'll see there digital energy power products. So what we are able to provide is an end-to-end solution from transformation of the power right through to data centers and now edge. Also, we have our services division, which allows us to provide an ecosystem of services. So our mission, we empower the digital transformation of our customers to ensure their critical network systems and processes are highly available and resilient. And let me touch on those last two pieces there, which are highly available and resilient. So this is what we're really looking for when we talk about a digital world and edge. So we're known for our data centers. So in our data centers, we're looking for that redundancy. We're looking for N+1 in power or cooling, 2N in cooling, that full redundancy in data centers. With edge, we have to be able to transfer that redundancy and availability to our edge and also to our non-IT. And I would argue today there really is no such thing as non-IT, and I'll give you an example of that. I was recently speaking with a dairy factory operator, and he was giving me an example of all the sensors and data that they collect in the dairy factory now. And the analytical data is just amazing. And what they're doing is capturing all the processing and all the data to actually show, for export purposes, the quality of their process and the milk powder that they're exporting. So it's amazing the amount of data that is collected in these factories, etc. So the journey began years ago, I guess, for APC. In the early 80s, we were known for UPS connected to a desktop. In the 90s to 2000s, we ended up delivering into the data center market where we built infrastructure and pioneered, I guess, in-row cooling and hot aisle containment systems. Today, we move more towards the edge and connecting cloud solutions. But our industry, we still face many challenges with this. And I'll just read this. To meet the needs of digital world, we have to change the way that we deploy and manage IT in data center, cloud, and at the edge. So, that's that piece of, in the data center, we know over the years we've built all this redundancy and resiliency, and we know that's available at cloud or colo partners, but we're also now requiring that at the edge. So as an example of that, this morning in the keynote, Sir John Key talked about tap and go quite a lot. And actually, we had this in our presentation before that, but as an example, I was going to talk about, a coffee shop. So years gone by, if I owned a franchise chain of 100 coffee shops, most of my clients would come and pay me in cash. And, over the years, we've found that, we've gone through the transition of FPOS and now really to the tap and go. I guess the digital transformation affects all of us, and the fact that most of us just really carry our iPhone now, and some of us will go out for a run and not even take our wallet, or, out in the car and forget our wallet. And, the ability to just tap and go and purchase something on the fly, whether it be at a retail hardware store or a coffee shop, it just shows that we can do this instantly and quickly now. But if I owned 100 of these stores and my edge wasn't resilient and reliable, then, you know, what's the financial impact if my systems are down and, you know, my customers can't transact? Do I give them free coffees? You know, no. You know, we have to resort to the manual process. Well, edge computing has been placed everywhere now. I mean, we see it popping up all the time. And I like this definition, and let me read this to you as well. An edge location is a computing enclosure space facility geographically dispersed to be physically closer to the point of origin or the data or a user base. So the point of origin or the data or the user base. Let me share a quick story with you on this one. So we had an Australian customer, a CIO, at an airport facility, and he came into the business and he wanted everything in the cloud. So he put everything out into the cloud he could, and then 12 months later, along came facial recognition and digital passport processing. All of a sudden, he's got edge. So, you know, he's grasping with how does he deal with everything being in the cloud, but needing a fast service to process passengers coming off planes. In the end, he ended up having to find location and facility on the airport and build an edge room. So, you know, edge is popping up all the time. We see three major edge computing application areas, and these are commercial, industrial, and telco. In the retail space, an example of that is, you know, if you've recently been to McDonald's and you've experienced the non-human touch interface to touchpad to order your meal, and so it's made fresh for you. This is one example. Another key area is healthcare. So if I take, you know, an example of a hospital where, you know, you see doctors and nurses carrying iPads to look at all the patient records, look at the medication, everything on the fly. And, you know, if we consider that years gone by, if we had a fracture, we might have to go to the fracture clinic and get an X-ray, and then we'd have to wait for that film to be developed, and then, you know, the doctor will bring it down, pull it out of the sleeve, put it on the wall on the light there, and try and diagnose your fracture. Nowadays, that digital image is just streamed to the iPad as soon as it's shot. In the industrial space, the example I gave around the dairy, you know, the amount of data that we're collecting, and particularly in Australia, we're starting to see mining, robotics, automation and trucks going under the ground and things like this, and they're all collecting data at the edge. The other area is obviously telcos, and you know, with the emerging 5G, you know, and the opportunities we're seeing around that is really going to support and develop edge further. All areas have consistent challenges though. And, you know, I see this a lot when I travel around New Zealand, particularly for businesses that, you know, maybe 100 sites or more. They might have a good server room, or they could be in the cloud, or they could be with one of our colo partners. But when you start getting out to the edge of their locations, they have poor resiliency. They lack the ability to monitor and remote manage those 100 sites. And also, there is a lack of standardization and integration of these type of services. And if I have 100 sites, you know, I may only have 2 people on my IT staff. So that becomes really difficult to manage when you're geographically dispersed. We do see answers to these challenges though. We can have integrated systems, all right, which is one thing we need. We have the cloud-based architecture from many partners, and the ecosystem of bringing all those partners together is what we need to solve these challenges today. So these integrated systems, they really simplify and speed up building edge. And as you can see there, you know, there's option, you know, edge can be down to, it could be 1 rack at one side, it could be 6 racks at a site connecting to a cloud environment. But, you know, we have available micro data centers, row-based data centers, and obviously containerized data centers, which we've actually deployed here in New Zealand, which are edge sites for our clients connecting to colo and cloud. All these come with the ability to have security, power and cooling enclosures. So today we're actually launching our microdata 6U wall mounted. It's an industry first. I really think this will fit New Zealand markets superbly. It's 6U, it can fit the UPS, it mounts on the wall, it can take about 100 kg of static load. You could put two on top of each other. It can be floor mounted on wall with casters on the floor. But it also has inbuilt cooling and it has a fan system. It's called an AR106VI, V for vertical and I for the international model with a 230 volt. Lance is going to put up a poll just so that we can, gauge the audience's view on this product, because we really think it fits New Zealand market well.
So I've started the poll there, Jace. So we'll leave it open for 5 minutes and see what we get. We'll carry on.
Thank you, Lance. Also, this can be connected and be connected to the cloud-based services so that we can have visibility and that it is able to be monitored 24/7. So why do we need the cloud? I mean, look, we need to collect and analyze the massive amounts of data. And this is the example I gave around the dairy factory. The other area is remote monitor and manage. Like, we need to know what's going on in these sites that we can't reach, and the ability to scale these systems and achieve better performance and predictive capability using the analytics and using the data. And, that is the performance thing is the airport example. We needed to have that high performance. So this is, as an example, this is our cloud-based monitoring and management system. There are others on the market, but this is what we use. And this is able to provide you the visibility, have the phone app if you're based in Auckland or Wellington or one of those major cities and you've got lots of regions, and as an IT manager you want to know what's going on, you have the ability to do this. It also connects to our Asset Advisor service, and you have the ability to have those insights. So, this creates EcoStruxure IT creates the lifecycle services in this platform. At present, we have 5,500 trade partners and 7,000 professional field service experts working this, with 6 regional service bureaus. So the key thing about the service bureaus is these are APC Schneider engineers with the expertise to help remote monitor your services and diagnose any issues. At present, we're really speeding up. We've got really good momentum, 185,000 connected devices, 350,000 connected partners, and 2,500 actual connected customers. And one of those is actually a healthcare organisation here in New Zealand, and they were the very first to do cloud and the cloud EcoStruxure. And we deployed 50 UPSs. They installed the software, and within 3 months they could see the benefits. They started seeing the problems, and we ended up deploying an extra sort of 15 to 20 licenses so that we could do their nurse call system. So they saw the benefits straight away. And on this, we're collecting 550 million data points a day. So these are the machine data analytics coming into the cloud data lake portal. So, you have the ability to view yourself against the other data within the data lake. So we need a complete ecosystem to actually form this. And as you can see on the screen there, the most important piece is the customer and having that need. And then obviously we are the physical infrastructure piece. We're the vendors that provide that. But then obviously we need, IT equipment manufacturers like Cisco and others to provide switching, and then we need our system integrators and our service management partners. In this example, you can see on the screen here that this company, Worldwide Technology, they reduced their engineering costs by 20 to 40% and increased processing speed by up to 20% and reduced the maintenance cost by 7% by delivering this ecosystem and pre-configured. So here's another example, supermarket chain. So their challenge was they wanted to update their IT, the inventory in stores needed to be done faster, but then they wanted to reduce their footprint and get the selling space back to the shop. What the solution was a Cisco certified net shelter rack, and this was designed by Schneider in our local edge configurator tool. Then the system integrator tested it, validated it for fit for purpose, and then basically you can see the net results on screen. 35% reduction in the engineering cost, 7% reduction in maintenance, and obviously, most importantly, the customer return, 50% increase in deploying speed without any risk to the project. So an ecosystem is what we need. And look, here's another example where we look at, say, 20, 30 years ago, we had a telephone coming into our home, single line, single source, single provider. And, you know, in New Zealand and Australia, I think it was both telecom. What we've got now with our edge and our ecosystem is the ability to have IP-based or calls, whether it be, you know, Skype, camera, headset, laptop, or whatever we use. But you can see the benefits that what edge and the ecosystem is bringing us. So we're well positioned to enable the digital transformation by having integrated systems, a cloud-based architecture, and obviously we require an ecosystem of partners. And you need all three to really make this work. We're here to support the transition to the edge. Online, we have a myriad of tools here, and your partner portal will give you access to our local edge configurator, which is one area I suggest going to look at today and testing that tool. Has the ability to select a UPS, select the rack, select the PDU, but also select vendor assets to make sure the solution all works before deploying to the market. So thank you for listening. That's our transition to the edge. And thank you for your time this afternoon. Lance, I think we may have time for Q&A, have we?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions here, Jace. First question is, you mentioned the local edge configurator. Can you explain what it is and expand on how it can you explain how it is accessed and what it is?
Yeah, sure. So the local edge configurator is an online tool, and it is available from the partner portal. So look, what it allows you to do is I touched on part of it before, but it allows you to basically start from scratch by selecting a rack, selecting all the infrastructure that you need for that, whether it be a PDU or UPS, and it'll make sure that the UPS actually fits into the rack. It won't let you put a UPS or any infrastructure that's too big to fit in the rack. And it also allows you, with our genome library of all our vendors' assets, it allows you to place those vendor assets in the rack as well to make sure that you've got enough U, that, you know, if I'm grabbing a Cisco switch, that, you know, if it's 1U or 2U, that I've got enough U in the rack and that it all works. So it's that ability to actually pre-configure before deployment.
Great, that sounds great. And the other question we have is your EcoStruxure only cloud-based? Look,
Lance, no. There's, you know, the cloud-based is the new version of it. EcoStruxure IT has been around a while, and you can run it on premise. Some clients are running on server, but most now are actually running it as a virtual machine. So it can be run on on-prem if you have your own server room or facility, you can still connect with the on-premise. You can still send all your data to the data lake, your machine data, and then that gives you the ability to have the insights and the predictability. And what I mean by that is that, you know, if you have a UPS or a large UPS, you can then look at the same type of machine that might be in the data lake and look at how your machine or UPS batteries is performing against others. And they could be the same. It's vendor agnostic, so, you know, we can pull other vendor, long as it's SNMP or Modbus, we can connect in and pull that information through. So, you know, you have two options, on-premise or cloud, Lance.
Great. Well, that's our time up, Jason, so I'll leave you to close off.
Okay. Once again, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate your time. Know it's late in the day.